Alright guys, the next Forsaken update is getting way bigger than expected, with new content coming soon, Noli's milestones nearly finished, and even more planned for the future of the game. Let's get into it!
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So Forsaken is currently preparing for the upcoming April Fool's update, and alongside that we finally received something new related to the long-awaited Noli milestones. NB, who many people previously knew as Yuyu, recently posted a folder containing the official Noli milestone renders, which is a really good sign for their progress. When renders like this start appearing, it usually means the designs are close to being finalized and that most of the visual work for the skins has already been completed. From what Vlad mentioned before, the main thing left for these milestone skins was finishing and polishing the chase themes. The audio for them was already mostly done, but the team wanted to spend extra time refining it before releasing everything. Forsaken doesn't want to rush these milestone skins out too quickly, especially after what happened with the TAF milestone skins during the Slasher update. When those released, a lot of players felt the designs looked rushed and unfinished, so the devs clearly want to avoid repeating that situation again. What's still interesting, though, is that Milestone 1 hasn't actually been revealed yet. The only designs we've seen from earlier scrapped concepts were for Milestones 3 and 4, so the first Milestone skin is still mostly a mystery right now. However, based on those older scrapped designs, we can still speculate a bit about what it might look like. One possibility is that it could simply be Noli without the mask, since the previous Milestone concepts showed the gradual development of his mask across the later skins. It's also very unlikely that they'll go back to the original classic design that was scrapped earlier, since that version was tied to the original creator who ended up involved in controversy. With these renders now appearing, there's a strong chance the Noli milestone skins could finally release in the next major update. After waiting this long, are you excited to finally see them drop? So something interesting has just happened in Forsaken, and it looks like it could be connected to the next update coming fairly soon. With all the recent sneak peeks we've been getting, especially the ones showing Jane Doe and her detective board where she's trying to piece together the corruption of John Doe, it feels like the story is slowly building towards something bigger. Now, if you've been around the Roblox community for a while, you probably already know that March 18th is known as John Doe Day. This date is tied to the old Roblox test accounts, John Doe and Jane Doe. Over the years, these accounts became part of one of the platform's most well-known myths, with rumors constantly circulating that John Doe would hack players or delete accounts on that specific day. Of course, none of that actually happens. It's mostly just a long-running internet myth that people like to bring up every year. However, in Forsaken, the developers have actually acknowledged John Doe Day before by adding small changes or temporary updates to the game. In the past, we've seen things like John Doe receiving buffs to make him slightly stronger, similar to how the Slasher update worked during Friday the 13th. So while the myth itself isn't real, the date still ends up being a fun opportunity for the devs to add something small to the game. That being said, it's unlikely that the March 18th event will introduce anything massive this time around. The reason for that is because the April Fool's update is also coming up shortly after, and that update is expected to be a much bigger one with more content overall. We could see returning skins, and possibly even a small event that feels different from the Masquerade or Winter updates. But since it is John Doe Day, there's still a good chance we might see another teaser related to Jane Doe, especially with how her detective storyline has been building up recently. It would actually be the perfect time for the developers to drop another hint before her eventual release, which still doesn't have a confirmed date yet. So if something does happen on March 18th, it will probably be small, but it could still give us a better idea of what's coming next. So the owner of Forsaken, Hitoko, has just made a huge announcement on Twitter about their personal life and how the development of Forsaken is going. Hitoko mentioned that updates have been slow recently, mainly because the entire team has been busy with different responsibilities. The team structure has also changed, with Hitoko stepping back from the manager role and focusing more on writing for the game instead. The new game director is now Voxov, who will be responsible for making sure future updates run more smoothly. Voxoft has apparently been grinding on development since January, with a lot more content planned for the rest of the year. Hytogo also addressed the situation surrounding the legal issues involving someone the community already knows about. They mentioned that it's understandable if some people choose not to support Forsaken because of that situation, especially since some of the revenue may still be connected to it. However, Hytogo asked the community not to attack or harass people who still choose to support the game. They explained that there are still over 100 people working on Forsaken, including moderators, testers, developers, and artists who rely on the project as part of their work. Because of this, Hytogo asked everyone to avoid bashing people who decide to continue supporting the game. Hopefully, with this announcement, we'll start to see more insight into the development process and what the future of the game will look like. So there was this fan-favorite skin for Cool Kid that seems to be returning, which is the Growlusian skin. At first, a bunch of its custom content was removed, like the chase theme, but as of now, it looks like it's likely to return. We recently got a brand new teaser showing how you might obtain the skin when it releases. The thumbnail of the video relates to the Yellow Ones map, which has a green locked door that we will probably have to unlock in order to access whatever area is needed to obtain the skin. Fawn also mentioned that might come back for the release and that things are looking good for Growlusium. This teaser showcases entering a basement, and once you do, Growlusium is roaming around a bunker-like area where we'll probably have to survive against him and then escape. We should also be seeing the chase themes return, especially with the recent release of all the Growlusium Ost. As of now, Growlusium is still a dev skin or VIP exclusive skin, as some players have already spotted others using it in-game. It doesn't seem to have many new animations yet, and the chase theme hasn't been added back in. Alexis Funny posted an image of an updated version of the original Forsaken piece called Damnation, with Cool Kid updated and some text that seems to reference John Doe's Aberrant skin being added instead of his. In a brighter version of the image, you can see a figure in the background that kind of looks like Rush from Doors. A lot of people are excited to hopefully see this skin come to the game, but as of right now, it isn't really confirmed. Still, it's cool to see the old Damnation reference come back with an updated look. Should we get more Aberrant skins? This skin was from TDS, where you had to play the narrator event and beat hard mode, which even players who have been playing the game for ages were still struggling to complete. Isaac has mentioned that the skin will become unobtainable but will later return permanently through a new method, most likely by earning a badge in TDS. Many people are frustrated, since the skin was originally supposed to be limited, and making it available again feels like it removes the effort and exclusivity for those who earned it during the event. Some also say it was the worst way to do a collab, since players were thrown straight into the final boss instead of being eased in, unlike how Battle Bricks handled theirs. Others feel that if there was always going to be a permanent method, the skin should have launched with an easier badge instead. People are now expecting it to return around April, June, possibly tied to story mode, meaning you may have to clear multiple maps before even attempting to unlock it. Even an event helper said it is going to be a nightmare, possibly taking longer than getting the Martyr 1X skin. Do you think this skin should have stayed limited? So Forsaken is clearly preparing a lot more for the game, and these recent sneak peeks look really promising. What do you think about them? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Forsakening it.